Hello, Michael. Thank you. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And I co-chair the DPPC with PK Gupta. He's actually residing in Singapore, so it's the timing is not good for him. So he's not on the call. But just a little bit of an update and an introduction for those that are not familiar with DPPC and what we do. So we basically work on data protection and privacy and help with education, help with certainly improving standards. Technically, we're not a technical work group, so we don't actually do anything related to intellectual property or the standards in and of themselves, although we do collaborate with other groups within SNIA as well as external groups that work on standards. So we do provide input as an external source into those standards that relate to data protection and data privacy. And we have a link to our charter listed here, and some of the work that we've completed recently is we worked very closely with the security twig within SNIA on an external standard referred to as the IEEE P2883, which is a sanitizing storage standard that just was recently published. And so as part of that activity, we did publish an advisory on that storage sanitization standard. And one of the other items, a couple other advisories that we have worked on within the last year are an advisory on 27001 as well as 27040, which is the storage security standard. That was actually initially done in 2015 and then actually just is currently being updated since a lot of the ISO standards go through approximately 5-year updates. So we're working closely with the security twig on that update, but we did do work on that particular standard as well. So the last thing listed here is the summit that we did earlier. Well, actually last year now that we're in 2023, we hosted a virtual storage security summit. It was actually quite a big event. It was a lot of work, but quite successful in that we got participants from across the globe. We had some folks that actually represented multiple standards organizations outside of SNIA as well as within SNIA, and had quite a few very, very interesting sessions that were both tutorial type sessions, but we also had some roundtable discussions, really quite fascinating. We had the likes of panel discussions with privacy lawyers involved, and it was really quite fascinating with all the work that we put into it. A lot of those tutorial type sessions from the Storage Security Summit are available. All the links to those are listed here on the slide. If you could go to the next slide, please. Then some of the things that we're working on right now are one of the big activities right now is working on an update to our best practices white paper on data protection. It was originally published in 2017, and then we're actually going through an update on that. And some of the specific things being worked on as an update to that white paper are things like replication, mirroring, erasure coding, and we're also including a section on storage sanitization, which we didn't actually even have listed as part of the data protection white paper initially when we first came out with it. We actually have a separate call each week just on the update to that white paper. So that's outside of our regular weekly call that we have for all the other activity that we're doing. So it's a big effort, and thanks to all of the participants that are working on that update to the white paper as a separate activity within our group. Then some of the other ongoing work are we are always looking at updates to the SNIA dictionary. And that would include not just existing terminology that's there, and we're doing some updates and providing technical committee, the TC, on either modifications to existing definitions or maybe some new terms that are not even in there. So we're constantly doing that, and that's an ongoing effort. We also do, as I mentioned before, some cross-group collaboration with other groups within SNIA. Our closest ties are with the security twig, and we do quite a bit of collaboration on specific security-related standards that are going through the motions. And then we also have some external group collaboration. So we're working on some items that are being done from a standards perspective with IEEE. They have a specific standards committee referred to as the IEEE Cybersecurity and Privacy Standards Committee. Within that committee, there's actually subgroups, what they call working groups, that are doing many different things, all the way from quantum computing to zero trust and other items. So we're working in collaboration with IEEE on multiple fronts. And lastly, we're working with the International Association of Privacy Professionals, IAPP, and they're actually quite busy with their own conferences at the moment, but we're continuing to work with them on some joint activities. Next slide. So some of the work items that are planned for this year are listed here. We'll do some advisories. You could sort of almost refer to these sort of like as press releases that are sort of specific to specific topics, like 27701, which is a very specific cloud security standard. The new advisory on 27040, which is currently in review for being published as its next release. And also Keeper.io will be doing an advisory on that shortly as well. We're also going to be working on the 100-year archive survey. This has been done twice in the last 12 years or so. First one being in 2007. It was done again in 2017. Excuse me. And we're working with another group within SNIA on the basis for what will be the new archive survey that'll be coming out hopefully later this year. And that'll be a fairly extensive effort that we'll be working on there. And lastly, quantum computing impact on encryption. That's going to be another major one that we'll be working on moving forward. In addition to, which wasn't listed there, of course, the best practices white paper that we're in the process of updating. From a membership perspective, there's listing here on some of the active members. It's obviously, as a committee, it's open to all members of SNIA. So as long as you're a member of SNIA, you can join the Data Protection and Privacy Committee. And those that are currently active are listed here on one of the sub-bullets. Some of the active individual members are also listed here. Thanks to all those active members, we appreciate the joining of our weekly calls. And that pretty much, I think, concludes my presentation. Any questions? Or maybe you're holding till the end for questions, but thanks for your time today.